So that's good. Robin, great to see you. Merry Christmas. We're saying Merry Christmas to everyone. Ewan, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
How are you?
Oh, Merry Christmas.
See you.
Merry Christmas.
Mate, Grant, I would hate to think how hot flipping Adelaide is at the moment. I in fact got married in the UK, nearly in the snow, on the 6th of December. We then went to Sydney, and then for another wedding, and then we went to Adelaide because my sister, as you know, was at Royal Adelaide, and I reckon it would have been 45 degrees. Middle of December, must have been 45 degrees. And there was a question why anyone would ever want to live in Adelaide. I don't want to be rude about anything, but it was like, holy crap, that place. You couldn't even go outside the door. It was so crazy hot. The only weird thing I would say is that, can everyone see Robin's image? Am I the only one who can see what she's currently doing?
Yeah.
She's out cycling or something, or walking or something.
What a fantastic idea.
She is a committed Dacxian.
And is she on a normal bike? Or
she's riding a push bike.
Yeah.
Is that a normal or an electric bike?
Normal.
That's
normal.
That's good.
Yeah,
you have to get the best background award.
Yeah, that was certainly we were embarrassed by the level of black background noise there.
Definitely love this sunshine too.
Yeah, look at that silhouette.
Mm.
Trees in the background.
Yeah, it's definitely not New Zealand because it would be covered in rain at the moment. There we go. Fantastic.
So look, it's 5 past, so we might as well get started, and then you're going to be the first speaker after me anyway, Ed. So we'll start with you, and then Lowy jumps on, and we'll continue on. So I just wanted to open up and say, firstly, Merry Christmas. I had some time with the senior partners Monday. Was it Monday this week? Yeah, it was Monday this week. Every week blends into another. And again, and well done, Dave. Good look. And I think I guess what I took out of it was just the fact that we're reflecting on the year and excited about, I guess, what's transpired, where we're at, while we're still excited about the future of the business. And it was just about sharing different stories and, I guess, enjoying each other's company. So tonight's a bit like the same. Again, it's not necessarily just about me talking. It's going to be a number of people from the Dacxi business talking. First half, we'll be talking about the global business, about what we've done this year, and also too what we're looking to do next year. And then we're going to talk about more specifically around Australia and New Zealand. So I guess my message at the start, though, again, is a very Merry Christmas to everyone. And we're so very thankful that you're part of the Dacxi community. Again, for someone like myself who's been here only 9 months, it's been a real joy to get to know many of you. Well, actually, all of you, to be honest. I mean, it's great, seeing you all so dedicated, probably the best way for me to explain it. And I think it's a fantastic thing for a business like Dacxi to have clients like yourself who are willing to give up your time and listen and look to educate others, and just generally enjoying each other's company. So that's probably a good enough open for me. As I said, we're going to have a look at global to start with. So I'm going to hand you over to our founder in Dacxi, Mr. Ed Ludbrook, and he's going to give you a little bit of a update, firstly on the year and also to opportunities for global moving forward. Edward.
Hey, look, guys, it's a joy to see you all. I have 10 minutes, which anyone who knows me knows that that's going to be a struggle, but I've been told that if I talk for any more than 10 minutes, I get absolutely closed off. And I just want to have a big shout out to Dave McCall, because I think that is the greatest look of anyone. I want to call you an elf, but it's just like, nah, you're not. You're like, someone else can come out with someone else can come out with what you look like. Hey guys, look, I wanted to start with this image, which is sort of the best news for a lot of people at the moment. We have this is a 3-month chart of the Dacxi coin. We have, look, as a business, we have purposefully just tried to focus on developing the coin in a proper way rather than hype it up or anything like that. So for the last 3 months, based on a few negative people want to exit the business, and then if they want to do that at 0.3 of a cent, good luck to you. We launched the new message around the Dacxi coin, and they must be feeling sick today. as the coin has dropped. And obviously a couple of days ago we saw what the real price should be for the Dacxi coin, which $23,000 a coin I think is probably a little bit optimistic, but hey, why not, right? The world is full of dreams. I think that's probably a little bit high. But the guys, when I think about this year, the real things that I want people to know is that, look, our revenues this year have grown 15 times. In the UK, it's 20 times. Australia, it's about 14 times. So the point is that we've had a spectacular year from last December to now. We predicted it. People laughed at us. Hey, look, the results prove themselves. We're really excited to be able to evolve our product range to add these other coins around, especially the Blue Ocean, which actually has been a lot more successful than I thought it would be. The other major thing has been the trading in singles. So people join, they nearly always buy our bundles. And then once they're involved in our business, we hope they get educated and want to look to be able to supplement their portfolios with other singles coins. The actual turnover in singles, I think, is something like 50 times growth. And I don't have the exact numbers, but in reality, it's gone to a dramatic increase versus last year. And so that's really fantastic. The other thing, obviously, the big news is that we finally got the Dacxi coin listed. And more importantly, in the last week, we got this next generation of talking about the coin. It gives, I think, the market a true appreciation of the value of that coin. People who are involved in Dacxi, nearly everyone owns those coins. And so I think they're excited about next year. I just had a great chat to our head of content and just looking at the sort of messaging that we're going to do over the next 90 days, which I think will really put some exciting stuff into the marketplace. Because at the end of the day, underlying our coin is a real use case that will create demand in the billions and billions of dollars, which underlying the value of that. So the other thing that I think is important is that we have started the growth of what we call the Dacxi network, which is this global network of independent licensees. The UK has gone from a couple of people to 10 people. It is now, it has a complete independent management team. It has its own plans, own structures, own systems to be able to develop that. We also have done that in Australia. Literally in the last 12 months, we have that whole team that you're obviously going to hear about today. And the other positive thing that people don't really know about is the European Union team, the European team, which has started with our office in Estonia. One day you'll hear about Sanders and those people. And that's important because with this global expansion of a team, it gives us real power. So when I look at next year as far as the crypto market, as far as how we're going to design the business, this year was very much around this whole crypto 3.0, what's called Web3. It's DeFi, it's the public blockchain, extraordinary growth, couple of 100%, sort of 100 million new people, a lot of institutional growth. When you actually look at who as organizations have decided to join crypto, it's extraordinary. You know, everyone who matters has joined this business. There's always the laggards. You can't expect Westpac or anyone like that to admit that they would ever want to go into crypto. They'll join just when everything's finishing. But as we know, we've talked about it all over this year. And when you really look at the market, it's extraordinary. But now what we want to do is look over next year. And what I want to do is to turn around to you and say, hey, look, what we have today, I think there's at least 100% growth as a market. So what is a couple of $1 trillion? I would be very surprised if we're not 4 or 5 trillion by the end of the year, end of next year. I think there's going to be a massive shakeout as far as payments. I think with Facebook's Novi, you know, stablecoin solution, with the Chinese crypto yuan, I think there's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be absolutely crazy. I think there's going to be, I think reserve banks are going to freak at this whole space. I think it's going to create a little bit of instability for Bitcoin, but because we all talk about it as digital gold, it'll come through that. The second thing, when it comes to the Web3 platforms, I think there'll be this really strong growth, but there'll be a bit of a shakeout. For those of you I know, sort of your, I bet if I'm talking to Brownie and the rest of the crowd, you know, we know that there's going to be a shakeout. There's going to be this competition between Ethereum and Cardano and Binance and Solana and the NEM and EOS and all these sort of guys as they fight over what is a huge trillion dollar industry. So that's going to be fantastic. There'll be a lot more institutional investment. So, you know, we've seen the CBA come through. I'm sure that your Westpacs and ANZs and all those sort of guys, they're going to have to come out and talk about what happens in the marketplace. I think this inflation is going to really rock and roll the precious metals and Bitcoin, Litecoin market. They're talking about 5%. They always underestimate inflation. So even 5% is crazy. I think that market is going to be very exciting. But the major thing really for us is that we're going to see the sort of professionals in the crypto market. Well, no, the professionals within the financial market take over what is this amazing opportunity, which the Australian government openly recognises is a $32 trillion opportunity. $1 trillion with a capital T. This is $32 trillion opportunity. I think next year we'll see the real powerhouse organisations talking about that. And I'm very proud of Dacxi. I'm very proud of what we're doing. When it comes to the crypto market, crypto wealth market, no company in Australia, in New Zealand, in the UK, in any market is better positioned, is better thought through what that is than us. And that also sets us up for the Dacxi coin, the Dacxi chain, the Dacxi coin market as well. So that's all I have for you guys. Mwah. Merry Christmas. Great to see you all. And over to you, Taizo. Taizo, how are you? And I think I nearly did 10 minutes. Nearly.
You're actually less than 10 minutes, which is awesome. Congratulations. That's a first in 2021.
That is a world first.
A world first in 2021. Exactly.
And I'm doing that because next year we're rocking. We're going to tear it apart next year.
Yeah, we don't have time to talk for 20 minutes. Only 10 minutes next year. Nah, fantastic, buddy. Thank you, mate. It's always great to hear from you. Ian, I can see that you're on the online as well, mate. I might get you to jump in now, and as the global CEO, I might get you to take it from here.
Yeah, sure. So, well, first of all, thanks everybody for sharing some of your Thursday evening. It's really interesting when we sat down and talked about wanting to set this up, and inevitably we started to reflect on, what's happened over the last year. And you've got to remember, when you're building a business, you're so focused on what happens next. You're so focused on anticipating, the market in the future and the competitors and the evolution of the industry. You don't spend any time at all actually looking back. So I always used to joke, high growth businesses have no rear vision mirror. And it's a little bit like that, right? So when we sat down and we reflected on the last year, we thought actually it's been a really formative year for the company. And it really brings to a close sort of this first phase of the business where the foundations, I think, are really strong. And we've done a lot of work on those foundations this year to set us up for phase two. And phase two, which starts next year, is really all about growth. And I'll talk a little bit about that. But in terms of reflecting on some of the things that have transpired over the last year, I sort of sat down and jotted a few notes. And Ed's covered some of the headlines, obviously. So obviously the sales growth is a really good headline. So, 14x for the Australian business. Now, the reality is that we're only in a position to sit here and talk about that because of you. And so, we're incredibly thankful. The passion and commitment that people bring into their interaction with Dacxi and taking that out into your own networks is incredibly powerful and sincerely appreciated. And we don't imagine for a moment that that's achievable for any other reason than the effort that's been put in by all of you. So thank you for that. We launched a new bundle this year. That's pretty significant when you consider that we only had one crypto bundle prior to that. And we had some solid take up of that. And we expect that will continue into next year. We've done a lot of work on some internal programs, whether they're sort of reimagining the quality of our newsletter communication, which I'm sure some of you have seen recently. And I think, that's a much better reflection of not just who we are, but how we want to be seen in terms of the look and the substance of that communication. You're going to see a lot more of that type of improvement in communications generally from us moving forward. We obviously had a big year for Women Who Crypto. That's going to be an ongoing commitment next year for us. We think that's really important. One of the things that Winston, our marketing lead, has been quick to point out is that the percentage of our customer base who are women is significantly higher than if you go into just a trading exchange, where it's really dominated by younger guys. But in the wealth space, we always saw this opportunity to have much broader appeal and universal appeal. And I think the fact that we have a much stronger representation of female customers on our platform is a really strong testament to the effort that's been put into that program. And those efforts are going to continue. Dacxi Learn, which is our learning management system. You're going to hear a lot more about this very, very soon. We're basically ready for launch. We're really excited about that. I think it's a really strong statement for not just the Dacxi brand, but the idea that the value exchange between Dacxi and our customers needs to revolve around much more than just a platform where you can invest in different assets. This concept of community comes alive through things like education and through things like market insights. And importantly, it gives you the ammunition you need to drive interest and turn that into action. So that's a big program of work this year, and you're all going to get to see that really, really shortly. And then in terms of the team itself, those foundations that we've focused on this year, we've expanded the team to include marketing leads, finance lead, operations lead, support leads, all based in Australia, supporting the Australian business. And that's the model that we're following in each of the markets that we activate the business. So it's really exciting to grow the team in that way, have dedicated leads in each of those areas and start to benefit from their experience and insights. And then on a product, on a global level, you know, I feel incredibly privileged to have the opportunity to work closely with Ed in a global capacity in terms of my responsibilities. And you know, when I think about where we are positioned now relative to the market's development and what still remains a very unique view of the future and unique value that we can create around that. I really believe if we get 3 out of 4 things right, this business will be spectacular. And it's the underlying business that will drive the success of all of the components or constituent parts, including, of course, the Dacxi coin. We've also taken on dedicated search and content leads. So, you know, what you're going to start to see from us next year is a greatly accelerated level of marketing activity, a lot more outbound communication, advertising, sponsorships. We've worked our way to become a sort of a trusted voice with a number of the media outlets. That's going to continue next year. So look, all of these foundational things that we've put in place and refined over the course of 2021 are really all about growth next year. And growth next year, and sorry, Chris, I know you've got to sort of me down to talk about a few things, but I've got a head of steam up here, mate, so I'll wrap it up. But I'm starting to get excited when I think about the growth next year. So we think about that in a few different flavors. The first flavor of growth for us next year is around customer acquisition. So look, we've been ticking along, but we really need to reimagine that trajectory. And reimagining that trajectory is not just an Australian opportunity, it's a global opportunity. And with that network effect of accelerated growth in our customer base, the tokenized crowdfunding vision becomes not just possible, but probable. It really is within our grasp. So the customer acquisition targets that we've set ourselves are really important. The other element to that is we really are very focused on activating the professional channel next year. And this really is an adjunct to Ed's earlier point. So this is about engaging with professionals that ultimately are the trusted advisors of the customers that we seek to engage with ourselves, and using those professionals as trusted advisors to those customers to bring value to their table so that they can start to recommend their customers come to Dacxi. That's not a quick solution. Building a community of professionals that engage with Dacxi and therefore introduce their customers to us is something that takes time to build momentum. But once that momentum is created, it's incredibly powerful. And I think in its own right will be a game changer for us next year. So there's some of the areas in which we're really focused on growing the business. We've got very clear line of sight on how we think we're going to do that. You're all going to be involved and on that journey with us, and you're going to see a lot more of the benefits of all that foundational work that's been done this year in accelerated activity and growth across all of next year. So sorry, Tyso, I've probably taken more time than I was due. Thanks, mate.
No, fantastic. Really good. It's always great to hear from you. I'm sure people appreciate it. I might also introduce now Fernando. So many of you actually have met Fernando. He joined our business a couple of months ago as our global head of product. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to bring Fernando in and he can give you a bit of background about himself and also to maybe give you an update on the last 12 months and also to opportunities for the future.
Sounds
Fernando?
good. Great. Thanks so much, Chris. And really good to be here and to see everyone. And of course, I'll start by saying Merry Christmas as well. And everyone has some safe holidays coming up as well. So as Chris mentioned, my name is Fernando Pacheco, Global Head of Products at Dacxi. Joined the business in mid-October this year. And, this is really my first opportunity to meet some of you. So, really happy to be here. And as background, I've spent the last 20 plus years in financial services. I've worked for some of the largest global banks and fintechs across many parts of the world. But what's really exciting now is, really to be working on this huge transformation of financial markets that is already taking place. And I'm a believer, as is everyone in the Dacxi team, on this eventual sort of tokenization of every asset class. And really, you know, the range of solutions that blockchain technology is looking to solve across the economy and various industries as well. So when I think about, you know, 2021, I mean, for me, it was really about, as Ian said, strengthening the foundations for the business. We've had phenomenal growth already, but I think we've got even, you know, much larger sort of growth plans, and we're getting ready to rapidly scale even more in 2022. You know, we grew the product and tech teams, and this is going to give us more capacity to develop new features for you, our clients. And we're also putting in place a really exciting roadmap for the coming year and beyond. And again, Ed and Ian touched on some of that. You're going to start to see increasing communication on some of these new features as we bring some of these to market over the course of the next few months and throughout the year as well. So in 2022, you know, our focus is really in three key areas. You know, the first one is going to be increasing the range of investment opportunities. And we're going to start in the first quarter with some additional crypto coins that we're adding to our portfolio of, you know, curated sort of investment opportunities. And we're also developing, as Ian touched on, the ability to invest in the tokenized equity of private high growth companies in the form of sort of crowdfunding. You know, and this is a segment, if we look at it, that historically has been really challenging for private investors. It's got large investment amounts required up front, and typically has got a lack of access to the deals that are available. And this is a market that, by some estimations, by 2027 is going to be worth about $1 trillion, just purely in this unlisted equity market space. And so the Dacxi coin and the blockchain is going to be absolutely at the center of that experience. Now, number two is building an even better user experience in our platform. And this is a key focus of mine over the next few months. We're building more functionality into our platform, you know, with features such as recurring deposits and investments. We're bringing more functionality around our dashboards to be able for you to manage your portfolio. And, you know, we're also looking at a mobile application as well later in the year. And these are just some of the exciting features that we've got on the cards. And then finally, I think the three, sort of the third other area, and Ian touched on that, is the geographical expansion. And this is really about us building more crypto wealth platforms around the world. And we're going to, you know, enable these for clients all over the place, from New Zealand to Singapore, amongst others, to really be a part of that Dacxi journey. And so, you know, our ultimate goal is going to be about making the Dacxi accounts increasingly the center of your investment portfolio, and providing you, our clients, with access to the growing types of asset classes that become available in tokenized form. And that's, of course, in addition to the select range of crypto coins that we believe provide long-term opportunities as well. So in summary, you know, I'm super excited to be here. It's going to be a really exciting, very fast-growing journey for all of us. And on that note, I'm going to hand over back to Chris.
Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate. I'm sure everyone enjoyed that. And again, it's great having you on board. It was actually good when Finalist came on board. Ian and I laughed about the fact that of all the people who could come on board, he also speaks Portuguese, was able to speak to the guys out of Brazil. So we're really, really fortunate. You have a great relationship with the guys in the tech team overseas as well. So
I'm the translator as a part-time job as well.
Exactly. Definitely for someone like me. So look, I mean, as I mentioned before, we thought we'd talk about global first. I might now focus a little bit more on Australia. And Lo, if I pitch back to you, just a bit of an update on your thoughts for Australia, particularly obviously the last piece, but also to what we're looking to do in the new year, and even including New Zealand. Yeah,
so look, I've probably blown your very carefully constructed agenda by talking about some of this already, mate. But look, Fernando has alluded to the fact that we will launch the exchange in New Zealand next year. It'll be early next year. And there'll be a lot more information coming on that. That's a really important milestone for a whole host of reasons. And to some extent, it's something that, you know, that if we weren't busy building the foundations, would have been done before now. But the synergies between the Australian and New Zealand markets, I think, are well understood. Many of you have networks that extend into that market. Many people in New Zealand, directly or indirectly associated with Dacxi Australia, have networks that extend into Australia. So there are some clear synergies between those markets we think we can benefit from. And the New Zealand business, really, we should be able to build that to something that's, you know, pretty respectable size in a reasonable period of time because of that. So we're really excited about that. In terms of the Australian team, we've started to see a couple of global roles based in Sydney. There's myself and there's Fernando Lawson, who heads up compliance for us. He's also based in Sydney. So, you know, the intention isn't to sort of refocus the entire, you know, all the global roles out of Sydney, but there could be a little bit more of that, maybe just opportunistically over the course of 2022. And Australia is actually a really good market from which to, you know, drive growth of a global business. You know, we've got all sorts of government incentives around innovation and R&D. We've got really good access to talent. The talent pools in Australia are reasonably deep, but there's actually a surprising level of international experience. You know, Fernando's a great example of that, international experience in the Australian labour market. So Australia, again, opportunistically, will be a country where we'll continue to selectively build the global team. And look, I think in particular, and I've touched on this already, the growth objectives are the nucleus of what we need to achieve in Australia next year. All of our programs are geared to acquisition growth, whether that's digital or through our network, in our community. And the pro channel, we believe, is particularly important. And one of the reasons we think it's important is not just that it will deliver us more customers, it will deliver us customers of a higher average value. Okay, we're very sure about that. And also those customers should be more sticky in terms of, you know, being able to take them on a journey over a real period of time, and them taking a medium to long-term view of their involvement with Dacxi. So the other reason we want to get that started really soon next year is because it takes time to build that channel. We know that, we understand that, but we also have some great assets to help us do that, including things like our education programs, market insights, which we're now starting to make available through newsletters, and you're going to see some more dedicated communication on market insights from us next year. So probably just expanding on a few of the other points there, Tyso, but there's a little bit more in terms of next year in Australia, specifically Australia and New Zealand.
Thank you, buddy. I'm just sort of making a note to someone. Look, thank you, buddy. It's yeah, for me personally, you know, I'm really excited about Australia and New Zealand, obviously, as we launch in the new year. Very exciting times. And today, I might also too now introduce you to someone who some of you have already met. He's our head of marketing. He's certainly got a lot of runs early on the board. I know he's keen to really talk to you about, I guess, our 12 months, but also to our next 12 months. So, Winston, if I get you to join and pop in, there you are.
Hi, everyone. Hey.
You want to run that video first? Do you want to try to see if that works first?
Can you see me now?
I definitely can see you.
Okay. Yep. Sorry about that. Just wanted to cut some bandwidth. How's everyone? So yes, I think I've met quite a number of you, which is great. So hi again. Good to see all your lovely faces before Christmas. I think I might actually start with a really short video that we've produced, and it's kind of a short video on the highlights for Dacxi Australia for the year 2021. And let me just proceed to see if I can now share that screen with everyone. Chris, are you able to enable share screen for me?
Yeah, I've got my mastermind in background.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna share.
Thanks, Squid. Fantastic.
Great. Let me just.
You might restart again for us, mate.
Oh, Winston, we should have just, that's much sexier than us talking, mate. We should have just played the video.
Maybe should have opened with that.
How did everyone sound go? Did they get a good?
I got most of it, yeah.
Okay.
Great. So I think along with that, I mean, it gives us a bit of a foundation to build on. One thing that we started in Q4 of this year is also a revamped newsletter with our market insights that is produced in conjunction with leading experts in the field of crypto and crypto investment. So that is what we're excited also is that we're able to build a database from it. So I think just on that last newsletter you guys would have received on Wednesday, you would have seen a section underneath for people to subscribe if they haven't had an account. So what we've noticed is even though that's the first time we've sent that newsletter out with the subscribe function, we've already got about 250 hits to the subscribe link. I guess we just goes to show the growing appetite of people within the Australian investment community to try and get quality insights and in a timely fashion. And we're going to be doing ours in a weekly manner. And that will be, obviously we would constantly build and iterate on that to provide as much high quality content as we can. You will also notice in the recent months that we've been appearing in the media quite a bit, giving thought leadership comments and commenting on various aspects of not just the crypto industry, but investment and other forms of asset investment in general. You will see that continue on into the new year, and potentially in a lot more tier 1 publications like the AFR, the Age, Sydney Morning Herald, etc. So yeah, so that's work that's going on. We're going to do high-level surveys across the country, trying to find out a little bit more about the investment behaviors, the investor behaviors as it relates to the year going forward. And so yeah, I think in terms of content and in media, you'll be seeing us appear a lot more, not a lot more than what we have now in Q1. Chris, back to you.
Fantastic, buddy. Thank you, mate. Great video. You also said, Winston, do you want to share that video with everyone?
Yes, so that video will be available. So let me upload that in a hosting environment, and I'll be able to share that link with all of you, and you'll be able to distribute and share that video across your wider network.
Fantastic. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks.
So look, my part now is to talk a little bit about sales. I know that Ed and Larry mentioned it before, but I mean, 2021 has been a great year from a Dacxi AU point of view. We started very strong early in the year as we look to, I guess, get people involved in Dacxi, and are particularly interested in the Dacxi coin. We obviously launched the Blue Ocean bundle, and we got significant, I guess, uplift in sales through that period. And in recent times, we've obviously been marketing the precious metal bundle. And I think it was Ed that mentioned the individuals, which is unique this year to previous years. We got a lot more people interested in just picking up individual coins. So from a sales point of view, like we said, we're really keen, obviously, in 2022 to have a much bigger, more significant year. But we're definitely thankful for everyone's efforts in 2021. So we wanted to celebrate that. I also wanted to share a quick video too, and then I'll just share it, and then I'll talk a little bit about it afterwards. Let me just pop that in there. And there you go. I'll just push play, yeah. Did you get a look at that? Did that come through okay?
You look terrific there, mate, in your jeans and sneakers.
I know I should have dressed up a little bit better in a suit that night, but look, just to give you all an update. I know that most of you already know, but it's a significant thing that a company like Dacxi is able to stand toe to toe with some of these big providers and be recognised by both Fintech Australia and Blockchain Australia in these two awards. So it's the first year that Dacxi Australia has been, been finalists in both those two. Yeah, nominated and finalists in both these two with these two organisations. And I can tell you, I mean, we're a little bit sceptic, as you know, that if you sponsor the award, you might get, you might win the award. But the reality is that just to be recognised by your peers, and it was incredible. I mean, again, apart from the horrible photo of me, it was incredible being part of a room of 200 people that were excited about, Australian digital currency exchanges, and to be spoken of, and we were lucky that we represented first on that list. It's just a significant achievement for Dacxi, and something that for anyone that wants to know more about our company is easily explained when you use those slides and you talk about the fact that again we're certainly in the top 10, recognised as in the top 10 or the top 7 in these cases of digital currency exchanges in Australia. Now, of course, we know that we're better than the top 7, but it's important to be recognised by your peers, and it's important to not have us tell them that's the case. It's great being nominated and being awarded that. So, again, apart from significant sales, we've also had significant recognition. And again, we've spoken about before, a lot of it's due to, I guess, the wonderful support that you all provide and have provided for many years. So for me, before heading it over to Lowy to finish off, I just wanted to say from my point of view, personally, I want to thank you for, I guess, making me welcome in March and accepting that we don't always get it right, but you're happy to continue to turn up to all our group sessions and you're happy to share thoughts, you're happy to work with us. So, I'm very thankful for that. I'm also very thankful that we also benefit, being a global company, we also benefit from having our international supporters join. As I said, Dave, you're looking fantastic in your suit. I'm going to have to give Ben Coke a hard time because I can't see him on the chat. I can't believe it's the only thing he's missed all year. But it's wonderful having that global relationship as well. So I've really appreciated it. And for me personally, I want to wish everyone the very best over the Christmas period, Christmas New Year's period. All the very best to your family. I know it's a really exciting time for me and my family. Christmas, we get very excited about it. So I wish all the very best to you guys. So really, the last but not least, Lois, maybe just for you to finish it off. And actually, before I do, I know there's lots of people I probably should thank, and I can't see him on screen, and I know that we all love him too. But I just wanted to thank Squid. I know you're in the background, mate. Yeah, you do a fantastic job in Australia. It certainly wouldn't be anywhere near as successful without your input on a daily basis, mate. So from me to you, and all from Dacxi to you, again, we really appreciate the efforts. Sorry, mate. Lowy, over to you.
Well said, mate. Thank you. Look, I was just going to wrap up with a short reference to something I think everyone here probably understands well and appreciates, but this kind of explains, I think, for most of us why we're here. So the 1 year return on the blue chip bundle, 206%. The 3 year return on a blue chip bundle, 1,585%. The 1 year return on the blue ocean bundle, 200%. The 1 year return on the precious metals bundle, it's down 15%. The 3 year return, it's up 31%, which just serves to remind you, you always hold when you look at the 1 year versus the 3 year. But I just think it's so powerful because, we talk a lot internally about democratizing the investment landscape over the course of our Dacxi journey for the everyday investor, and doing that on a global scale. But in the end, we have to, we also have to be confident that the story we take forward, and by we, I mean everyone on this call, is not just resonating, but is actually delivering. And, when I read these numbers, it reminds me that, we've probably changed some lives here in a real and meaningful way. And, this is not an altruistic exercise. We're here to build a business and to build success. But gosh, I've got to tell you, when I look at those numbers and I think about what that implies for not just the business, but for all of you, and the confidence you can have in the story that you're taking out into your networks, I just feel really good about that. And whilst there are no guarantees in life, the evidence here suggests that being part of Dacxi is something that's very successful for everybody. So thank you for creating that with us, and looking forward to lots more of that in the future.
Well, that's it. So we might open for a couple of minutes just quickly if people wanted to say anything or jump on whilst or wish, have Merry Christmas wishes or.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
I'm just so glad we're not in America where we have to say Happy Holidays.
Oh,
yeah.
Used to be like that though.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everyone. What a fantastic night. I'm so glad this is recorded and I can listen and take notes. But thank you to everyone involved, and I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and New Year's, and look forward to the journey next year. Very exciting and very unusual for Squid to be quiet when someone's talking about him.
Could I ask a question, if that's okay? I'm actually a newbie here. I don't know any of you except for Craig. Would that be possible?
Sure.
Something that I think might be relevant, especially since we know that things with our dearly beloved, very old-fashioned bank system is most likely not going to last for very long. Access to cash from Dacxi, for example. I know that there are, I know of at least one other blockchain company that offers things like a credit card system where they are in partnership with, say, Visa or MasterCard or something like that. And so rather than me transferring, say, cash from Dacxi to my bank, which may not be available, what are the possibilities or chances of Dacxi providing such a card or an app so as to use with EFTPOS and stuff like that? I know that's a basic thing and you're not necessarily all here for that purpose, but we may need to access cash at some point and the regular systems may not be available for that, if that makes sense.
Right. Answer that.
Yeah, who wants to pick this one up? We're all dying to jump in.
We talked about this a couple of days ago, didn't we?
Yeah,
we did indeed. We did.
Fernando, that's you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the hot seat. No, look, it's a really interesting point, and I think what you're seeing is, you know, how much the sort of the whole transactional and sort of investment environment across all of the, you know, the needs that we have, right, in financial services is evolving. It's a very sort of valid point, and I think, you know, really interesting areas we see sort of the future of the markets increasingly where, you know, crypto holdings start to become the centerpiece to be able to then be used right across the broader economy. You know, and today, I think there are very limited use cases. I think tomorrow, meaning into the future, I think that's going to grow more and more as some of the technologies and some of the, you know, and I think the use cases expand as well. So I think for us, it's something that, you know, as Ed mentioned, we've talked about, you know, potentially be on a radar, but at the same time, you know, I think there's lots of different opportunities, you know, right across the crypto space and sort of, you know, the wealth business that we're also building. And we also want to be focused around, you know, what's going to deliver the right returns, the right focus for our clients from an investment perspective as well, without necessarily encroaching onto the sort of transactional environments. But, you know, it is a space that's evolving. So I think for us, you know, we just need to be nimble and dynamic around how the space continues to evolve.
That's a good question. I mean, it's a really good question. I think the way we think about it is any company, regardless of how many resources it does have, has finite resources, right? So when we look at our capacity and we say, right, what are we going to build into our platform? There's a whole range of things. Now, what you've described is what I would generally put under the category of utility. Utility around the cryptocurrency and the digital assets, right? As a wealth platform and as a crypto wealth company, utility is actually not the highest priority for us. The highest priority for us is building a portfolio-based experience, expanding a considered a number of assets to expand on that curated catalogue that has inherent value, building in additional functionality around not just reporting, but this idea that has already been mentioned by Fernando around people being able to just essentially direct debit from their account into their Dacxi account. So they're slowly but surely accumulating a position. So there's a whole range of things that really align nicely with crypto wealth that we see as more of a priority than going and building utility into the platform, which is where things like cards and other things come into play. But to Fernando's point, we'd never say never, but there's certainly things that we think add value to the crypto wealth proposition that we want to get to first.
No, I appreciate that. And thanks for helping me see things from your point of view, which that was very important. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great question. Great question, though. Look, I am going to hand over to Andrew because I think he deserves the last say. And it's nearly 9 o'clock because he's always trying to kick us off right on an hour. So Squid, I'm going to give you the last 2.5 minutes and you can have a crack.
Chris. Look, it's I didn't want to say too much tonight because the profile of our new Australian and global admin team has been on display tonight. Very, very grateful for my friendship with Ed and introducing me to the power of tokenisation 4 years ago, and we've had Chris join early this year, and the power of Chris Tyson has not been realised yet. And I think the power of Chris Tyson is going to be fully utilised in 2022. Ian Lowe, I'm very grateful that I knew you would take over the global role. You are certainly built for purpose. You're an amazing guy, and I really love what you've brought into Dacxi at the moment, but I do know that that is going to be expanded dramatically through 2022. And Fernando and Winston, I know you guys are going to do an amazing job at steering the community into great products and services within the Dacxi ecosystem as well. So look, I'm very grateful to be part of the Dacxi journey up until now. And 2022, I just know will be an amazing year for Dacxi. A lot of people are going to live with a lot of regret. I could just feel that in my bones. Everyone we've talked to, everyone I've talked to for 4 years, and Julie's spoken to for 2.5 years, and Andy's spoken for 4 years. Everyone we spoke to are going to go say, well, wish we bought, 1 million Dacxi coins at 0.5 cent, which is like, it's worth nothing. You should buy 1 million Dacxi coins now. But I think Ed has put together the team that I believe he could put together 4 years ago. So like I always say, use case first. We have literally $1 trillion use case. I believe that Ed would find the team to carry out the project successfully, and he's done that. And he's always been focused on regulations first, and that is a key component of the success of Dacxi, because regulators can make you and crush you if you don't follow the rules. So like, I'm very grateful for the friendships that I've made in Dacxi. I really am, honestly, very grateful for all my great friendships I've got. And everyone on the screen are some of my best friends in the world, and additionally in crypto as well. But truly, I'm very grateful that I have done well in crypto, and a lot of you have listened to what I've said, and you've followed my lead. And I know that you guys have also done very well in crypto as well, because of the lead of Ed Ludbrook, his management team, and having faith in me. So I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. And I'm not going to say I wish you a prosperous 2022, because that's a gimme. It's going to happen anyway. So 2022 is going to be an awesome year. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate your friendship, your leadership, and I'm looking forward to another wonderful year next year. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Thanks, Quid. Thanks, Quid. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Take care.
Merry Christmas and
Merry
thank you.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, yeah.
Love you all.